You know, there comes a time in life when you realize that trying to please everyone is not only exhausting, it's impossible. You can't make everybody happy. You can't fix everybody's problems. You can't meet everyone's expectations. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner your life will change for the better. God has a plan for you, a purpose for your life, and He's calling you to step into your destiny. But here's the truth. You cannot focus on your calling if you are constantly bending, twisting, and molding yourself to fit into everyone else's life. You know, so many people walk through life thinking that focusing on themselves is selfish. They think if I take care of myself, I'm being prideful. If I spend time on my dreams, I'm being self-centered. But I want to tell you something today. That is a lie straight from the enemy. God never intended for you to live your life running ragged, trying to satisfy everybody else, trying to bend yourself to fit into someone else's expectations, or trying to carry the weight of the whole world on your shoulders. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. It's necessary if you want to live a life that is full of purpose, peace, and joy. It's necessary if you want to fulfill the calling that God placed on your life before you were even born. Think about it. Have you ever been around someone who is constantly giving, constantly bending, constantly accommodating everyone else but themselves? Their energy is drained. Their smile is forced. Their heart is weary. They are tired all the time. And when you look at them, you might think, wow, they are so selfless. They are so giving. But inside, their spirit is breaking. Their dreams are on hold. Their joy is buried under the expectations of everyone else. And I want you to know, God never intended for you to live like that. He wants you to live in freedom. He wants you to live in abundance. He wants you to walk in your gifts and your talents and the full potential He placed inside of you. But you cannot do that if you are constantly sacrificing yourself for the approval of others. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you stop loving people. It doesn't mean you stop giving or helping. It doesn't mean you stop caring. But it does mean that you recognize the value of your life, the importance of your dreams, and the necessity of protecting your energy. God wants you to be strong so that you can be a blessing to others. He wants you to be full so that you can pour into the lives of people around you. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give light if your own life is dark. And too many of us have been trying to shine for the world when inside we are starving spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. You see, focusing on yourself is really just aligning with God's plan. It is saying, God, I recognize that you have put gifts and dreams inside of me that are meant to bless this world. And I'm going to take care of what you have entrusted to me. It's not prideful to protect what God gave you. It's not selfish to nurture what God planted in your heart. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice. You can choose to spend your energy trying to make everyone else happy, or you can choose to honor yourself, honor God, and step into the life He created for you. When you make that choice, everything changes. Your peace increases. Your joy returns. Your purpose becomes clear. I want you to think about the times in your life when you have put others first, when you have said yes to every invitation, every request, every demand, and in the process said no to your own dreams. You know how that feels, right? You wake up tired, you go to bed exhausted, you are trying to live someone else's life while your own life waits for your attention. And maybe you've tried to justify it. Maybe you've told yourself, well, I have to do this for my family. I have to do this for my friends. I have to do this for my boss. And I'm not saying you shouldn't love your family or do your job well. But I am saying that when you put everyone else before yourself consistently, your life begins to shrink. Your dreams begin to fade. Your potential becomes dormant. And God did not create you to live dormant. He created you to thrive. He created you to rise. He created you to walk in the fullness of your calling. Focusing on yourself is about priorities. It's about learning to say no to the things that are not aligned with your purpose. It's about understanding that your time, your energy, and your life are valuable. And it's about realizing that God is counting on you to be who He made you to be. You know, sometimes people fear that if they focus on themselves, they will appear arrogant or selfish. But here's the truth. The only person who needs to approve your self-care and your personal growth is God. He is the one who knows your heart. He is the one who put dreams in your spirit. And when you honor those dreams, when you honor your calling, you are not being selfish, you are being obedient. Think about it like this. You have a garden inside of you. God has planted seeds of greatness, seeds of creativity, seeds of leadership, seeds of influence. If you spend all your time watering other people's gardens, what happens to yours? It withers. It struggles. It doesn't grow the way God intended. But when you water your own garden, when you give yourself the time, the space, and the energy to grow, the harvest is abundant. And the beauty of it is when your garden flourishes, you can share the fruit with others in a way that is joyful and abundant. Not out of obligation, not out of exhaustion, but out of overflowing blessing. I want you to hear me today. Taking care of yourself is part of God's plan. God never intended for you to live exhausted, depleted, or frustrated. He intended for you to be strong, to be joyful, and to walk in your purpose with confidence. And sometimes that requires you to step back from people, to step back from situations, and to give yourself permission to focus. It requires you to set boundaries. It requires you to protect your energy. It requires you to say, I cannot do everything. I cannot make everyone happy. I will focus on the life God has given me, and I will trust Him to take care of the rest. Many of you are afraid to focus on yourselves because you worry about what people will think. You worry that someone will be upset with you. You worry that you will disappoint someone. But I want to tell you something today. God is more concerned about your destiny than anyone else's opinion. And when you align yourself with Him, when you put your dreams, your peace, and your purpose first, people begin to respect that. People begin to admire that. And doors begin to open that could never open when you were bending over backward for approval. You see, focusing on yourself also strengthens your faith. When you take time to pray, to meditate, to study God's Word, and to reflect on His plan for your life, you become stronger spiritually. You are able to discern God's direction more clearly. You are able to hear His voice above the noise of the world. And when you focus on yourself in this way, your entire life begins to line up with His promises. You begin to recognize the opportunities that He has prepared for you. You begin to walk into favor, into provision, and into breakthroughs that you didn't even know were possible. I want to tell you something else about focusing on yourself. It gives you confidence. When you know that you are living according to God's plan, when you know that you are nurturing the gifts He has given you, when you know that you are prioritizing your growth and your health, you begin to walk with a confidence that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. People will try to discourage you. People will try to criticize you. People will try to pull you off your path. But when you are focused on yourself and on God, their voices become background noise. Their negativity cannot touch you. Their criticism cannot define you. You know who you are in God, and that knowledge is powerful. And here's the beautiful part. When you focus on yourself, you inspire others. People notice when you are living intentionally. People notice when you are stepping into your potential. People notice when you are at peace and full of joy. And suddenly, those who once doubted you begin to respect you. They begin to see the value of living with purpose. They begin to see the importance of honoring themselves too. When you focus on yourself, you are not only fulfilling your calling, but you are lighting the way for others to do the same. So don't be afraid to focus on yourself. Don't feel guilty for taking time for your growth, your health, your dreams, and your purpose. Don't allow anyone's expectations to control the way you live your life. God created you for a specific reason. He created you with unique gifts. He created you to shine, and that shining only happens when you take care of yourself first. When you focus on yourself, you align with His plan. When you focus on yourself, you protect the blessings He has in store. When you focus on yourself, you step into the abundant life He promised. I want you to imagine the life you could live if you gave yourself permission to focus. Imagine waking up every morning without exhaustion, without fear, without the burden of pleasing everyone else. Imagine having the time, the energy, and the clarity to pursue our dreams. Imagine living a life filled with peace, joy, and purpose. That life is possible, and it starts with one decision, the decision to focus on yourself, not selfishly, not arrogantly, but faithfully, obediently, and courageously. God has given you one life, one spirit, one heart, and one destiny. And He wants you to live it fully. He wants you to live without compromise. He wants you to live without apology. And when you focus on yourself, when you honor yourself and the calling He has placed on your life, you will discover the freedom, the joy, and the abundance that God always intended for you. So today, take a deep breath and make a choice. Make the choice to focus on yourself. Make the choice to honor your dreams. Make the choice to protect your energy. Make the choice to walk in faith and courage. God is with you every step of the way. And when you do this, your life will begin to change in ways you never thought possible. You will experience more peace, more joy, more purpose, and more blessings than you have ever dreamed of. You know, one of the most powerful transformations you can experience in life is the moment you decide to stop pleasing everyone. So many people live their entire lives bending, twisting, and reshaping themselves just to fit into someone else's expectations. They constantly say yes to things they don't want to do. They tolerate situations they shouldn't. They sacrifice their own peace, their own dreams, and their own happiness just to make other people comfortable. And while they may appear kind, giving, or selfless, the truth is they are living a life of quiet frustration. Their value is being overlooked. Their time is being wasted, and their voice is being silenced. God did not create you to be invisible. He did not create you to live a life where your worth is determined by everyone else's approval. He created you to live boldly, to stand firmly, and to command respect by walking in your God-given purpose. You see, respect is not something you demand. It's not something you can beg for. You cannot twist yourself into shapes or try to accommodate everyone's desires and suddenly expect people to honor you. True respect comes when people recognize your boundaries. True respect comes when people see your value. True respect comes when you live a life of integrity, purpose, and faith, and refuse to be moved by criticism or negativity. And one of the fastest ways to command that respect is to stop trying to please everyone. It's amazing how quickly people respond when you stop overextending yourself, when you stop giving your energy to those who do not appreciate it, and when you start protecting your heart. Suddenly, the way people see you changes. Suddenly, the way they treat you changes. They begin to honor your time, your space, and your voice. I want you to think about this for a moment. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? How many times have you agreed to things that pulled you away from your dreams or your rest because you were afraid of what others would think? And after doing it, how did you feel? Tired, drained, frustrated, unappreciated. And yet, you continue this pattern because you have been conditioned to believe that people's opinions matter more than your peace. But here's the truth. No one has the authority to define your worth. No one has the authority to dictate your time. No one has the authority to determine how you should live your life. Only God has that authority. And when you align yourself with Him, when you choose to honor your calling and your peace first, you begin to command respect automatically. You know, people respect confidence. They respect strength. They respect someone who knows who they are and what they want. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't have to be arrogant or loud to earn that respect. You simply have to know your worth, protect your energy, and walk in the life God designed for you. When you do that, people begin to notice. They notice that you are not easily swayed by peer pressure. They notice that you do not settle for less than God's best. They notice that you honor your time and your boundaries. And when they see that, they begin to treat you differently. They begin to value you in ways they never did when you were constantly saying yes out of fear of displeasing them. I want you to understand something important. Stopping people pleasing is not about being mean or selfish. It's not about ignoring others or shutting people out. It's about creating a life where your peace, your purpose, and your dreams are protected. It's about learning to say no in love without guilt or shame to the things that are not aligned with God's plan for your life. It's about refusing to be manipulated or controlled by the expectations of others. And when you do that consistently, respect comes naturally. People respect those who have boundaries. People respect those who are intentional about their time. People respect those who are not afraid to stand up for themselves and their calling. There are people in your life right now who may be testing you, trying to pull you off your path, trying to make you conform to their agenda. And you have to understand that is where the power of saying no comes in. Saying no is not rude. Saying no is not rejection. Saying no is a statement of your worth, your purpose, and your alignment with God's plan. When you say no to things that do not serve you, you are telling the world, and more importantly, you are telling yourself that your time, your energy, and your destiny are too valuable to waste. And when you do that, people cannot help but respect you. I want you to think about leaders you admire, the people who inspire you. They did not get to where they are by trying to please everyone. They got there because they had vision. They had focus, they had boundaries, they had courage. And every time someone tried to distract them, pull them off course, or demand their energy for the wrong things, they had the wisdom and the strength to say no. They protected their peace. They guarded their calling. And because of that, people respected them, followed them, and listened when they spoke. You can have that same respect in your life when you stop bending to everyone else's will and start walking confidently in your God-given purpose. I know some of you are thinking, but if I stop pleasing everyone, won't people be angry with me? Won't they judge me? Let me tell you something. Some people will always be upset. Some people will always criticize. Some people will never understand your journey or your dreams. And that is okay. The goal is not to make everyone happy. The goal is to live in alignment with God's plan for you. The goal is to honor your time, your energy, and your peace. When you do that, the right people will support you. The right people will lift you up, and the respect you've always wanted will come, not because you forced it, not because you begged for it, but because you stood firm in who God created you to be. Respect also comes when you stop apologizing for your boundaries. So many of us have been taught that setting limits is rude or selfish. But I want you to hear me today. It is not rude to protect your heart. It is not selfish to honor your calling. It is not wrong to focus on your life, your health, your growth, and your peace. In fact, God expects it. God wants you to be whole so you can be a blessing to others. God wants you to be full so you can pour out in abundance. And when you stop apologizing for saying no to distractions, negativity, and energy-draining people, you begin to command a level of respect that words cannot buy. Another beautiful thing about stopping people-pleasing is that it strengthens your confidence. When you no longer base your decisions on the opinions of others, when you no longer adjust your life to make people comfortable, you begin to walk in the power of your own identity. You start to hear God's voice more clearly. You start to recognize opportunities that align with your purpose. You start to feel peace that no one else can give you. And when you operate from that place of confidence and clarity, people notice. They notice the difference. They notice that you are no longer dependent on their approval. They notice that you are strong, grounded, and intentional. And that is when respect comes naturally, not forced, not demanded, but earned through your authenticity, courage, and faithfulness. I want you to imagine your life if you stop bending over backward for approval. Imagine waking up every morning with the freedom to live according to God's plan. Imagine walking through your day without the heavy weight of guilt, fear, or people's expectations. Imagine saying no without hesitation, protecting your peace without apology, and focusing on the things that truly matter for your growth and destiny. That is the life of someone who commands respect, a life of strength, a life of purpose, and a life filled with God's favor. So today, make the decision to stop people-pleasing. Make the decision to honor your time, your energy, and your calling. Make the decision to set boundaries and say no to distractions, negativity, and unnecessary obligation. When you do that, respect will follow. Doors will open. Relationships will shift in a positive way. Opportunities will come that you never imagined. And most importantly, you will experience the freedom, confidence, and peace that comes from living your life in alignment with God's purpose. Remember, respect is not something you can demand from others. It is something you earn by living with integrity, strength, and courage. It is something that comes when you refuse to allow the opinions of others to control your life. It is something that comes when you honor your time, your energy, and your calling. And when you stop pleasing everyone and start focusing on what God created you to do, you will command respect naturally, effortlessly, and powerfully. There's a remarkable power that happens when you prioritize your own growth and step fully into the purpose that God has placed in your life. So many people live their lives reacting to circumstances, bending to the will of others, and constantly putting their own dreams on hold. They wake up every morning with their energy scattered, their focus diluted, and their heart heavy because they are trying to live for everyone else instead of for God and for the plan He designed for them. But when you make the conscious decision to focus on your growth, to prioritize your purpose, something powerful begins to shift in your life. Your spirit is renewed, your confidence grows, and the people around you begin to notice the difference. Your life becomes a testimony, not just for yourself, but for everyone who encounters you. You see, God has placed unique gifts and talents in each of us, and He has a purpose that is specific to all or life. And when you begin to prioritize that purpose, when you take your growth seriously, you are honoring Him. You are acknowledging that what He planted in you is valuable, and you are willing to nurture it. And the beautiful thing about focusing on your purpose is that it doesn't just bless you, it inspires others. People notice a person who is intentional. People notice a person who is committed. People notice someone who refuses to settle for mediocrity and instead strives to live a life of excellence. And in that inspiration, you begin to spark courage and hope in others. You begin to show them what is possible when you choose to honor yourself and God's plan for your life. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you looked at someone and admired the way they live their life? Maybe it's someone who is successful in their career, someone who has a thriving family, someone who has overcome incredible obstacles, or someone who exudes joy and confidence. And what draws you to them is not just their achievements, but the way they walk in their purpose. They are focused. They are intentional. They are committed to their growth. They have boundaries that protect their energy, and they honor the plan God has for them. And because they live that way, you can't help but respect them, admire them, and even want to follow in their footsteps. That is the same impact you can have in your life when you prioritize your growth and purpose. Prioritizing your growth doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities or shutting out people. It means making decisions that align with your calling. It means learning to say no to distractions, negativity, and things that drain your energy. It means investing your time, energy, and resources into the things that will help you grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. When you take your growth seriously, when you refuse to settle for less than God's best, you begin to walk in a confidence that is undeniable. You begin to radiate peace and joy that others can feel, and you begin to live a life that naturally commands respect and admiration. I want you to think about the opportunities that await you when you focus on your purpose. Opportunities often come disguised as challenges, as responsibilities, as risks. But when you are growing, when you are intentional, when you are aligned with God's plan, you are prepared to recognize those opportunities and to step into them boldly. You no longer shrink back out of fear or uncertainty. You no longer hesitate because of the opinions of others. You step forward with faith, trusting that God is guiding your path and that He has already equipped you for the task ahead. And in that stepping forward, in that living fully in your purpose, blessings begin to flow, sometimes in ways you never imagined. Doors open that were once closed. Favor comes in unexpected places. Relationships shift, careers soar, health improves, joy and peace multiply. And all of this happens because you chose to prioritize your growth and purpose. There is a natural law in life when you invest in yourself, when you take time to develop your gifts, to sharpen your skills, to expand your mind. You create value not only for yourself, but for the world around you. The incredible thing about God's kingdom is that He blesses growth. He blesses effort. He blesses determination. He blesses those who are willing to walk in faith and pursue the life He has designed for them. And when you focus on your growth and purpose, you are positioning yourself for those blessings. You are preparing yourself to receive the fullness of what God has promised. And you are setting an example for others to do the same. I want you to hear me today. Prioritizing your purpose is not just about achieving personal success. It's about becoming a light to others. It's about inspiring hope, courage, and faith in those who are watching your journey. People are paying attention whether you realize it or not. Your commitment to your growth is teaching them that it's okay to dream. Your courage to follow your calling is teaching them that it's okay to take risks. Your dedication to God's plan for your life is teaching them that it's possible to walk in faith even when the world is uncertain. And when you live in this way, your life becomes a blessing, not only to yourself, but to everyone around you. Sometimes prioritizing your growth and purpose requires sacrifice. It requires stepping back from things, people, or habits that are holding you back. It requires courage to let go of what no longer serves your destiny. And it requires faith to trust that God will provide, guide, and protect you as you pursue your calling. But here's the beautiful truth. God honors that commitment. God multiplies it. God rewards it. And the blessings that follow are not just material. They are spiritual, emotional, and relational. You experience a peace that surpasses understanding, a joy that cannot be shaken, and a confidence that cannot be undermined. And the more you live in this way, the more you unlock the doors of potential that God has been waiting to open for you. I know that some of you have been hesitant to prioritize your growth because you feel guilty. Maybe you feel like you are taking too much time for yourself. Maybe you feel like you are neglecting others. But I want you to understand something. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot bless others fully if your spirit is depleted, your heart is weary, and your energy is gone. Prioritizing your growth is not selfish. It is essential. It is the key to living a life that is abundant, purposeful, and inspiring. It is the key to walking in the blessings that God has already prepared for you. And it is the key to showing others that they too can live fully in the calling God has placed on their lives. When you focus on your growth and purpose, your influence expands. People begin to see that you are intentional about your life. They begin to see that you are disciplined in your faith, committed in your goals, and fearless in your pursuit of what God has for you. And because of that, they are drawn to you. They are inspired by you. They are motivated to pursue their own growth and purpose. Your life becomes a ripple effect of blessings, motivation, and inspiration, touching people you may never even meet and impacting generations to come. That is the power of prioritizing your growth and purpose. God never intended for you to live a life of mediocrity. He never intended for you to hide your gifts, delay your dreams, or shrink back out of fear. He intended for you to rise, to shine, to walk boldly in your calling, and to inspire others through your journey. And every step you take toward prioritizing your growth and purpose aligns you with His blessings. Every moment you invest in yourself, in your health, in your dreams, and in your faith is an investment in the future that God has already prepared for you. And the beauty is that as you grow, the inspiration you provide multiplies. Your courage becomes contagious. Your faith becomes infectious. And your life becomes a testament to what is possible when you choose to honor yourself and God's plan. I want you to imagine the life you could live if you prioritized your growth and purpose every single day. Imagine waking up with clarity and focus, knowing exactly where God is leading you. Imagine having the courage to say no to distractions and yes to your calling. Imagine walking through life with confidence, peace, and joy, knowing that you are living in alignment with the plan God has for you. Imagine the people you could inspire just by showing up fully as yourself, fully committed to your dreams, and fully aligned with your purpose. That life is possible, and it begins with one simple decision, the decision to put your growth and purpose first. So today, make that choice. Make the choice to invest in yourself, to nurture your gifts, to step into your calling, and to live intentionally. Make the choice to protect your energy, to guard your time, and to focus on what truly matters. God is with you every step of the way. He is equipping you, guiding you, and blessing you as you pursue your purpose. And as you prioritize your growth, you will not only unlock doors of opportunity and blessing, but you will inspire others to do the same. Your life will become a beacon of hope, a source of motivation, and a testament to the power of living fully in God's plan.